Hey everybody, welcome to week 5 of our Living the Dream series. This is our last and final week, so I hope it has been amazing for you. I hope you've been able to join us for services on Sunday at Neely and at 191, and I hope this has been a really great series for you. I really enjoyed it, and I'm excited about today as we look and see how God uses good and bad circumstances to help fulfill the dream that He has for our lives. In fact, in 2011, my wife Jenna and I moved to Midland from Abilene, Texas, and we were coming here to fulfill a dream. We both had new jobs. I had been on staff at a church and was trying something new and was going to teach school. And so I got a job teaching 6th grade science and social studies and was really excited about it until I started doing it. And it was so incredibly difficult. Thank you, teachers, for what you do. It was one of the most difficult years of my entire life, and I just really had a really hard time. But looking back, I'm so thankful for that year because of how God used it to fulfill things in our lives. See, that year brought us to Midland. And now, 8 years later, I am on staff at Mid-Cities, a church that my wife and I really love. My wife loves her job, and we are so happy and so thankful that we're where we are today. There's nowhere else we would want to be. So because of that, I'm thankful for a really awful year 8 years ago. And this happens. Sometimes there are things in our lives that are just really difficult to go through. And so take a moment and share with the group. Maybe there's been a time that you had to go through something really difficult, but it worked out well in the end. And if you will, just share that.
Let me recap here for a moment where we're at. At 17 years old, he has this dream. 13 years had passed from his dream to the point that he's in Pharaoh's house and elevated to do Pharaoh's work. In that, after the 13 years, there's 7 years of plenty. And then it isn't till 2 years of famine that he actually sees his brothers and the dream becomes a reality. Meaning 22 years after the dream is when he actually sees the dream fulfilled. He's 39 years old at this time. That's a long time. From 17 to 39, it's 22 years. But Joseph is in good company. Abraham got a promise from God at the age of 75. He didn't see that promise fulfilled, his son being born, till he was 100 years old. This was 25 years later. David is the same way. David was promised to be king and anointed king over Israel. He doesn't walk in that role for 13 years. See, God is not an Instapot. He's more of a slow cooker. Can anybody relate? He's more of a slow cooker. I know Instapot's all the rage, but he is more slow cooker than Instapot. And oftentimes it's easy to become impatient. Have you ever become impatient?
Hurry up and order.
Excuse me. Thank you.
How about a smoothie? What's in that?
Smoothie's a juice drink. We want coffee.
Buddy, relax.
No, you relax. I'm a regular here. This line needs to move.
I beg your pardon.
Do you have scones?
Tall, non-fat, double latte.
Sir, you're at the back of the line.
I recognize that.
Cut it out or you're out of here.
You can't kick me out.
You know what? You're really invading my ear space.
Look, I'm a frequent coffee drinker. I'm part of the club. I have a card. Do you have a card? Do you have a card?
No, I don't have
Does
a
anyone
card.
here have a card?
We don't have frequent drinker cards.
That's a video club card.
Ah! Zip it there, Sporty Spice!
Are we doing this?
Oh.
Is this happening now?
Yeah, wanna
Sir?
Great, I'd
Let's
love
do
to.
it.
That was actually recorded at Starbucks earlier today from one of you, right? No. How many of you been impatient before? And you're standing in line, you're at the grocery store, you're somewhere in line, you're waiting, you're waiting and you're kind of ready for it to go. But how many have you been impatient with God? Impatient with God. God, why aren't these things happening quicker? Why isn't this dream moving along? But let me just tell you, when we get impatient with God, we get to be in a dangerous place. And this is what we see play out for Joseph as well. He's going throughout all of Egypt. He's preparing them for the famine, building grain houses, administrating the saving of grain in each of the cities. When famine comes, there's lines of Egyptians and lines of people from other nations waiting to talk to him. When they come to Pharaoh, Pharaoh says, hey, go talk to Joseph. He is busy. His phone is blowing up. Emails, his inbox is packed. I mean, he can't clear his inbox. He is so busy. It's boom time in Egypt. And he's at the center of it. See, some of the hardest work you will ever do is walking out the dream that God's given you. Some of the hardest work you'll ever do is actually doing what God's called you to do. See, when he gives you a dream, he entrusts you with leadership and responsibility. And whether it's leadership in your home or leadership in your business, leadership in your neighborhood or community, he entrusts that to you. And too often, we have wrong expectations about what walking in God's dreams for our life looks like. In the book Creativity, Inc., Ed Catmull, one of the founders of Pixar, whose dream it was for years, his dream for years was to have a feature-length animated film, computer animated film. He knew it. He was involved in the technology of developing it, and he speaks in the book of how that was his big dream. So ultimately, the day came where his big dream was fulfilled. It was the opening of Toy Story, the very first computer animated film. And as it opened, and to smashing reviews and box office success, he entered into a depression. And the reason was he was just trying to figure it out. But he realized that his dream was fulfilled. What in the world was he going to do with the rest of his life? See, when your dream becomes a reality, if not dealt with correctly, it can derail the pursuit of God and what he wants to do in your life. If it's not dealt with right, see, if you don't understand what the purpose is behind the dream, how will Joseph respond to this dream being fulfilled? How will he handle the brothers who rejected him, who sold him into slavery, who caused him so much pain? See, I'm sure he rehearsed this a million times, but emotions are a funny thing. He's upset. He speaks rough to them. Here's what you need to know, though. God has a purpose in your dream. And the purpose isn't usually the dream itself.
Hope you guys had some good discussion. And I just want to thank you so much for joining us for this 5-week journey through our Living the Dream series. As we close today, I want to just take some time to pray for the different circumstances that are going on in everyone's lives. Some of you guys may be going through a really great season that's really happy and easy. And others of you may be going through a really difficult season in life. And no matter where you are on that scale, we all need prayer. And so let's take a moment and just pray for each other in the circumstances that are going on. And let's pray that we will continue to pursue God's dream for our lives. And together, we can truly live the dream.